Hello everyone, and welcome back to Storytime History, the channel where we bring the greatest true stories of humanity to life. If you love learning about ancient civilizations, powerful kingdoms, world religions, legendary leaders, and the events that shaped our world, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Today, we are traveling back more than 1400 years to a land of endless deserts, powerful tribes, bustling trade routes, and ancient traditions. In this harsh and unforgiving environment, one man would receive a message that would transform not only Arabia but eventually influence billions of people around the world. This is the story of the birth of Islam. Long before modern nations existed, the Arabian Peninsula was home to numerous tribes scattered across deserts, mountains, and oasis settlements. Life was often difficult. Water was precious, travel was dangerous, and survival depended heavily on tribal loyalty. A person's tribe was their protection, identity, and support system. Disputes between tribes could last for generations, and maintaining honor was considered one of the highest values in society. Despite these challenges, Arabia occupied a strategic location between Africa, Asia, and Europe. Merchants crossed its deserts carrying spices, silk, incense, gold, and countless other goods. Along with trade came ideas, cultures, and religious beliefs from distant lands. At the center of this network stood the city of Mecca. Mecca was one of the most important commercial and religious centers in Arabia. Merchants from many regions visited the city, bringing wealth and opportunity. The city was also home to the Kaaba, an ancient sanctuary that attracted pilgrims from various tribes throughout the peninsula. Different groups worshiped different gods and maintained their own traditions, making Mecca a unique gathering place where commerce and religion existed side by side. Around the year 570 CE, a boy named Muhammad was born in Mecca. His birth appeared ordinary, and no one could have imagined the impact he would one day have on history. Even before he entered the world, tragedy had touched his life. His father died before he was born, and when he was only 6 years old, his mother also passed away. Orphaned at a young age, Muhammad was raised by his grandfather and later by his uncle. These early hardships taught him resilience, compassion, and an understanding of human suffering that would remain with him throughout his life. As Muhammad grew older, people began to recognize qualities that distinguished him from many others. He was honest, dependable, thoughtful, and fair. In a society where trust was essential, he earned an exceptional reputation. People came to know him as Al-Amin, meaning the trustworthy. Merchants trusted him with valuable goods. Families trusted him with important responsibilities. His honesty became widely known, and his character earned him respect long before he became a religious leader. As a young man, Muhammad worked as a merchant. Trade caravans traveled across vast deserts and connected Arabia with neighboring regions. Through these journeys, he encountered people from different cultures and backgrounds. He listened to stories from travelers and learned about beliefs beyond those practiced in Mecca. His reputation for honesty eventually caught the attention of a wealthy and respected businesswoman named Khadija. Impressed by his character and abilities, she hired him to manage trading operations on her behalf. Their business relationship flourished, and over time mutual respect developed into love. They eventually married, creating a partnership that would become one of the most important relationships in Muhammad's life. Khadija believed deeply in him and would later provide unwavering support during the most difficult moments of his mission. As the years passed, Muhammad became increasingly troubled by the condition of society around him. He witnessed inequality, tribal conflicts, corruption, and the mistreatment of vulnerable people. He saw divisions that kept communities apart and practices that he believed harmed individuals and society as a whole. Although he participated in the life of Mecca, he often felt drawn toward deeper questions about existence, morality, and the nature of God. Seeking solitude, he began spending time away from the city in quiet reflection. One of the places he visited most frequently was a cave on Mount Hijra, located outside Mecca. There, surrounded by silence and away from the distractions of daily life, he would spend hours in contemplation and prayer. He reflected on the world around him and searched for answers to questions that weighed heavily on his heart. These periods of solitude became increasingly important to him, providing moments of peace and reflection amid the complexities of society. Then, in the year 610 CE, an event occurred that would change history forever. While meditating alone in the cave of Hira, Muhammad experienced something extraordinary. According to Islamic tradition, the angel Gabriel appeared before him and delivered a message from God. The angel commanded him to read. Muhammad responded that he could not read. The command came again. What followed became the first revelation of what would later be compiled as the Quran. The experience was overwhelming and unlike anything he had ever encountered before. Frightened and uncertain, Muhammad left the cave and returned home. His heart raced as he struggled to understand what had happened. He sought comfort from Khadija, who listened carefully as he described the experience. Rather than dismissing his account, she reassured him. She reminded him of his honesty, kindness, generosity, and strong moral character. She believed that someone with such qualities would not be abandoned by God. Her support during this moment proved invaluable and marked the beginning of her role as the first believer in his message. Over the following years, Muhammad continued to receive revelations. At first, he shared the message quietly with family members and close friends. The message centered on belief in one God, the importance of justice, compassion toward the poor, honesty in business, and accountability for one's actions. The teachings emphasized moral responsibility and encouraged people to abandon practices that promoted injustice and division. Gradually, a small group of followers began to form around him. Among the earliest believers were individuals from different backgrounds. Some were wealthy while others were poor. Some held positions of influence, while others belonged to marginalized groups within society. The message appealed to many because it emphasized human dignity, ethical behavior, and equality before God. For those who felt overlooked or mistreated, it offered hope and purpose. However, not everyone welcomed these teachings. As Muhammad began preaching publicly, opposition emerged. Many leaders in Mecca viewed the new message as a threat to long-established traditions and social structures. Some worried that abandoning the worship of idols would affect the city's religious significance and economic prosperity. Others feared that the teachings challenged existing power structures. As a result, criticism and hostility toward Muhammad and his followers began to increase. The early Muslim community faced significant hardships. Followers were mocked, threatened, and in some cases physically abused. Families were divided by disagreements over belief. Economic boycotts were imposed, creating additional suffering. Despite these challenges, the community continued to grow. The determination and perseverance of the early believers became one of the defining characteristics of the movement. The difficulties intensified when Muhammad experienced personal losses. His beloved wife Khadija passed away, removing one of his strongest sources of emotional support. Soon afterward, his uncle also died. These events occurred during a particularly difficult period and deeply affected him. Historians often refer to this time as the Year of Sorrow. Yet even amid grief and uncertainty, Muhammad remained committed to the message he believed he had been entrusted to share. As opposition in Mecca increased, a new opportunity emerged. Representatives from the city of Medina invited Muhammad to come and help mediate disputes among different groups within their community. In 622 CE, Muhammad and his followers migrated from Mecca to Medina in an event known as the Hijra. This migration marked a turning point in Islamic history and became the starting point of the Islamic calendar. In Medina, Muhammad assumed new responsibilities as both a religious leader and a community leader. He worked to establish agreements among various tribes and groups, promoting cooperation and mutual responsibility. The growing Muslim community developed institutions and practices that helped strengthen social bonds and support collective welfare. What had once been a small and persecuted movement began to evolve into an organized society. Over the following years, relations between Mecca and the Muslim community in Medina remained tense. Several conflicts occurred, testing the resilience and unity of the growing community. Yet despite these challenges, Islam continued to spread throughout Arabia. More tribes entered alliances with Muhammad, and increasing numbers of people embraced the new faith. Eventually, Muhammad and his followers returned to Mecca. Many expected that years of conflict would result in revenge and punishment. Instead, historical accounts describe a remarkably restrained approach. Broad forgiveness was extended to many former opponents, and efforts were made to promote reconciliation. The Kaaba was rededicated to the worship of one God, becoming the spiritual center of Islam. In the final years of his life, Muhammad continued teaching the principles that had defined his message from the beginning. During his farewell sermon, he emphasized justice, equality, compassion, and responsibility. He reminded people that no individual was inherently superior to another based on tribe, ethnicity, or social status. What mattered most were character, faith, and actions. In 632 CE, Muhammad passed away in Medina. For his followers, the loss was profound. Yet the movement he had begun did not end with his death. Instead, it continued to expand across Arabia and beyond. Over the centuries, Islam would influence civilizations, cultures, scholarship, art, law, architecture, and countless aspects of human history. Today, the story of the birth of Islam remains one of the most significant chapters in world history. It is a story of faith, perseverance, leadership, and transformation. Whether viewed through a religious, cultural, or historical lens, its impact on humanity continues to be felt across the globe. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. If you enjoyed this episode of Storytime History, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who love learning about the past. Until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember that every chapter of history has a story waiting to be told.